Full blown. Bro, what is that Formula One logo? All right. The overlays are buggy, but we are live. Welcome to the driver showcase of Reflex Motorsport. There we go. Now our overlays are good to go. Welcome to the Season 1 driver showcase. This is going to be a lot of testing in this stream. Come here, watch some racing. Hopefully there'll be some cool stuff for you to look at. Hopefully there'll be some cool stuff on our site for the team principals to look while we're testing a lot of different things. But as we get started for qualifying, I am Caden. I am with Seven. We are the founders of Reflex Motorsport. This is our very first test of hosting a race and an event. We've got a lot of cool things to show you guys after this race. This race is going to be a lot of data collection, but the most important thing is for the team principals to take a look at some of the drivers who are going to be in the league for the first season as we get ready for our draft in the coming weeks and the beginning of our very first season. Seven, you know these guys well. Who should we be looking at for this qualifying session?
Yeah, I think we're going to get a couple of really good competitive times. I'm just trying to look back at some of the racing that I did in some other leagues at CODA, and I'll pull that up in a bit to just kind of get a comparison to what times as they start to cross the finish line, and what times that they're going to be posting, and if they're, how do they compare to, let's say, like pole position of races that we've done in the past. So I do think we're going to get a really good field. Everyone in this lobby I've raced with before, and everyone not only has pace, but has really strong racecraft. So I think overall we're going to see really good racing across the board, and I'm excited for it.
And I do want to note real quick for our graphics, you will see after P14, you got a bunch of Formula One driver names there. That's a bug on the graphics themselves. We currently have 13 people for this race. They should drop off by the time we get to the race. But for now, everyone's going out for their hot laps, and we'll keep an eye and let you know once we start pushing. I didn't add the track map. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it with the HUD off on my end here.
Yeah, HUD off for sure. It was super nice.
Yeah.
Like right now, I can switch to your stream, and I
How's
can
it
add
look?
my overlay. Oh, it looks great. But what's even better is now mine's hidden, so I can go and do some stuff. I didn't even think about that. That's fantastic. But the track map is definitely a necessity so that we know who is out first.
I just want to, get a sense of who's in these cars here. These are a lot of familiar faces and not so familiar constructors. So trying to kind of get a grip for who we're going to be talking about here and who's in what seat. Nice.
Ooh, what's the usual orientation of CODA? All right, we'll do that. Well, we got at least one person without their UDP settings on. First guy out there is player.
Definitely got to iron out the kinks. It's a warning. It's going to be a warning for the season.
Yeah. Let's see if we can see who this is by pulling up. It's Floss. Okay, someone who joined last second. So we can't give them...
Yeah, new guy. Give him a break, Caden.
Yeah. I've only spent the last 2 weeks trying to make this work. That's okay.
All right, so let's start checking in on some of these times here. We got a 132.8 out of Frenny. Frenny, so Frenny has been my teammate in another league for about 4 straight seasons. So I know him very well. And when we raced here last together, he was super strong in qualifying. So no surprise that he's going to go ahead and set the fastest time on the board so far. He's very comfortable at Coda. Are you seeing the timing page on your end?
If you have it up, I see it. Yep. She'll have to hide it, but I can switch for now.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the site. I'm on the iPad here, and I think just the setup maybe. Oh, here we go. Landscape looks way better. Sorry.
Yeah, the track map does not seem to be working. I was hoping to get that working before that, but that's all right.
You did warn us. Kinks in the road.
There are lots
a lot of
testing.
Kinks.
Well, we got lots of AI drivers on the track that we got to shuffle through. There's a car driving slow. KNYT. He's the one that joins late, right? He seems to just be getting some clear space before he starts his hot lap. Here at the nearing the end of the... Oh, it's kind of in a weird spot to be going slow, but we'll keep an eye on him and see what's going on. He really doesn't want any impeding, which works for us.
Yeah. He's going to start his lap.
Ooh, big lockup into turn one.
Yeah, wow.
That's going to slow him down for his first go. Plenty of time to... Oh, he's gonna keep his foot down. Let's see.
Such an interesting track. With the new regulations, you'll be soon to find out with that. Here, it's an interesting track. You got to really save up for the long straight, but there's also a ton of time.
Ooh, big spin
here.
I kept it out of the wall.
Track, he's good. Yep. To keep pace through the S's early on is critical to time. So it's really trying to figure out how much do I want to carry ERS into the S's, and then where do I start to shut it off, go down to none, start to harvest a little bit, slow down the battery, and then get back on the battery on that straight, and then how much do I burn on that straight? It's such a difference from the race to qualifying as far as the ERS management on this track, and that's also one of the reasons why we went with it for tonight's showcase.
Even here, you can see at the end of Sector 1, Grim is already nearing 60% of his battery, already having to slow down to charge before that back straight.
Yeah.
Now, would you say Coda's energy rich or energy low? Seems like there wouldn't be enough place to harvest here, but you'd hit that limit because the track's so long.
Yeah, it's kind of it's definitely one of those tracks where you can get caught. If you overplay in Sector 1, you are going to have a tough time on that straight, and there's just not enough corners, slow speed corners in particular on this track to, like you said, really keep it afloat. So you got to be smart. You got to be calculated for sure. Here at Coda.
If you look over on the commentary desk, you can see the tire pressure. It's looking at the wrong UDP metric. There's no tire C952, but
what do you mean? I love that tire.
Pretty sure the C stops at 5. C5 is as hard as it gets, but it'd be ice skates if they went this far. Grim's nearing.
Do we have anybody else on a hot lap here?
Grim's finishing his, but he had a bit of a spin. Looks like most people are in the pits. Frenny is starting a hot lap. We'll get in with him.
Almost contact at turn 1.
Frenny down 1/10 from his time. You can see already down to 50% battery. So he's using a lot more in Sector 1 than we've seen from the last few guys we've been on board with. But you can see him try and charge up. Now as he's reaching this back straight, he's down to 30. He'll get to charge right before.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. You want to really head into this straight, entering that last corner with about 55 to 60. Anything less than that, you're going to really struggle late here. But again, qualifying very different from the race.
See, he reaches the end of Sector 2 where he's at. He's down 2/10 now, so what he's doing now is better, so I can't really complain about the battery. He knows what he's doing, and he's doing it right.
Such a crucial corner right here. Carry as much speed as you can. Get on the battery hard. Keep it to the right. Stay on that right side of the track as much as you can. Don't lose the tires. This is looking good here from Frenny.
Yeah, I think a feature that would be very helpful to add to this commentary table is when people are on hot laps or not. I'm not sure.
I agree.
Well, we'd be able to see... Well, we already do see their tire health. So if we see someone on track with a 0 on the tire health, that we will know that they're about to start a hot lap.
I think sector timing would be nice. I don't know if we have that.
No, this was Opus's first shot. I didn't spend much time. I was too focused on getting the graphics on the live stream, which I think are much more important.
The laps times page is nice because you can see how they've improved. So like Frenny, 4/10 improvement in that last lap. So that was a strong lap from Frenny.
Doesn't mean much for Mike D, who's now down only 0.3 of a second, but his sector 1 was right on par with Frenny as he's reaching that back straight. His telemetry is off, so we're not quite sure where his battery is at, but we'll see when he gets to the end of this long straight how much battery he saved for that Sector 2. I'll do a yellow flag in Sector 2 where he's approaching. Looks like just to be a car going slow, giving him space, making sure he doesn't get in the way.
Yeah, we'll be thankful the new update from F1 initially when you get yellow sectors, the battery the boost would turn off. So qualifying early on with this update was very, very questionable. Also can't see on our timing page as well. I think team, what car they're in.
Yeah, lots of stuff to be added to the.
Yeah, we got to take a lot of notes for sure. Just log all this. So far, so good though, man. It looks clean. It's helpful.
Well, the most important thing about this test was the fact that those numbers are there. The numbers being there is a big success. What we do with the numbers afterwards, we can do a lot more things with. But making sure that it's consistent flows saves it for later. It'll give us a lot of data after the race as well, even more than you normally get from that UDP dump.
Oh, yeah. Let's see how we're doing on time here. 5 minutes left to go. Is there anyone in particular that I can reach out to in between quality and the race to just let them know to flick on their public telemetry?
Yeah, there's a few people if they can. It's Mike D, XIM, Flo, Grim, DJ. I'm calling DJ, and Cloud Boy. It's quite a few. If you can pull up the stream real quick, you can just see everyone whose name is Player. Actually, no. Yep. If you look on the live commentary page, check that with your. I'll hide your stream. You can pull up the Formula One's live timing, and just match that standings with the people who are just named Player. But here's a hot lap from the next Mercedes driver, Flo. His teammate came nice and close to Frenny, but lost it just there in the final sector. As Flo is up a 10th on Frenny, so he is human. That 4/10 can be caught, but maybe that required a lot more battery to be consumed in that first part of the lap. It looks like he had to bail out of his lap.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, we got to fix figuring out who's on hot laps. That's difficult.
Trying to double check the setting that they need to put on is
They just need to set it to public.
your telemetry to public.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if he goes for another lap here. Big cut of the first corner.
He matches that first sector one that he did on his last lap that he bailed out on. We'll see what he liked more. Maybe he was able to save a little bit more battery for this back straight. Decided saving the tires was worth it than trying to pull something out on that final lap or that last lap.
Yeah, so he's going to drain it to 0. That's not really what you want to do too much here.
It should give him an advantage there in the second sector, but it's really going to hurt him in that final.
Yeah, you want to burn here, push, a little bit. Looks like he's recovering. He's going to go for a heavy push here.
Here we go. This is the closest we've seen to Frenny tonight. 3/10 away. Was able to get closer than his teammate to take the front row away from him. We'll see if his teammate has anything to say. Or sort of teammate. His teammate is up on Frenny in that first sector. He reaches the end of that back straight. We'll see how his time is as he reaches the end of sector 2. With a big spin coming out of that, which loses him half a second of time there.
Looks like we are going to get lap here from Zim started up.
Just can't match that first sector from Frenny. The Mercedes have been able to come close, but I think they're using a lot more battery to do so.
Yeah. Such a tough first sector, man. Just you got to really connect it perfectly to get the time you want. It's much harder than it looks. You know, you're not only managing your line through and your speed, but you're also managing your battery. You're managing the gears. You know, it's flat out, so you're downshifting while you're flat out. It's a tricky little sector here for these new regs.
What are the biggest changes that you've noticed in qualifying for these new cars versus the previous ones? Like I think
obviously it's hard to ignore the battery. I mean, it is just you really want to make sure that you are utilizing the battery. You want to cross that finish line, you know, exactly at 0. And I think it was easier to do in 25. because there was less volatility with the battery, whereas now, you can recover significant battery rather quickly. So it's you need to recover and deploy and to get that as close as you can to zero to make sure you maximize the time in the lap is actually it is tough to do, and it takes practice.
Well, that will take us to the end of the qualifying hour. Let me see. Why is that not swapping? There we go. As we get to our classifications. In P1, we have Frenny. In P2 is Flo. P3, Mike D. Finishing off the second row is Aero Knight. P5, we have XIM. In P6, we have Mursaki, who joined 3 minutes before we started this race, but we are happy to have him. And now I lost mine. So KNYT is our P7. P8 is just going to be Player, but I'm pretty certain that's Grim. P9 is Fate, and P10 is DJ. I guess this overlay cannot go past P10, so if you're too slow, you do not get any recognition. Here I can say we got Project Nemesis in P11, Flyer DJ in 12, Mini in P13, and Cloud Boy in P14. Now, the biggest thing with this race is the race itself. Qualifying is important to see, of course. The team principals are trying to find the drivers that are going to be on the front row. But the most important thing is the racing. What are they going to do when they have a car side by side? What are they going to do when someone bumps them and they have to fight back from some adversary? So we will see with this as we finish qualifying and switch to the race.
So hopefully a couple of the guys have commented that they've fixed the telemetry. So hopefully that should refresh. If not, is that something you can do on your end to make sure? Or
what are we checking? What do you mean?
Some of the guys have selected or ticked on their telemetry. Or yeah.
Let me take a look. Flyer. Let's see. Flyer is updated. Yep. So if they switch it on, it will. We'll resolve it here. You can just see in the overlay as soon as their name shows up, that means their telemetry's on. So we still got a few who have it off. I can't pull up the list of drivers.
Djokovic, put your damn telemetry on.
But yeah, Flyer, thanks very much. That updated quick. The stint history is broken with all those different tire numbers. In qualifying, people did like 20 stints according to our telemetry.
Every time Freddie posts that, I always just can think of the sound clip. Ah!
He lost 3/10 in that final sector, but it did not matter. See if the race engineer page track map is working. No, track map's just busted. All right, well, that'll be my first thing to fix, but
I wonder if the guys who switched on public updated in the live timing.
Well, it should be. Flyer did 20 stints. Okay. Do you have no line on? Or is he just doing first race with no line? I am also noticing that the live telemetry is saving to the browser, so if you refresh, it clears it. I'll have to fix that as well. I should really be taking notes.
Yeah, we probably should.
I will. I've got paper right here. Old-fashioned way.
Just want to make sure everyone. Oh, got some people. Sam, Flyer, yeah. So they are updating. I think we're only missing what, 2 guys?
The 2 Mercedes.
That's it.
For now, I think so, but I need some track data to update for sure.
Yeah.
So we could be good. DJ coming in with excuses, but we'll take it. That's what we should do. This league requires Ethernet connection to your network.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. In the wise words of my good friend Fives, boogity, boogity, boogity.
I can think of some other people who said that first, but
yeah. Listen, man. Shout out to Fives.
And we got a drive-through for Grimm, but a slow launch off the line for Frenny. Maybe he was just trying to have some competition, but Mike D makes it past him into turn one. Lots going on in turn one. Lots of debris flying. But Frenny does get the lead back from Mike D, but he is right on his tail.
Ooh, KNYT kid. Beautiful move on the outside. Through the S's. Critical moment in the race. You want to try to jump as many drivers as you can.
Whoa! Someone forgot to brake in turn three.
Oh, it goes way wide. The Audi goes way wide. It's Grimm. He's also got that 10-second KNYT kid on the outside on Aero Night. Always a tricky area to go overtake. Keep it clean. Good racing. Wow, great job, KNYT kid, showing off an impressive first lap here at COTA.
He does seem to have a penalty. I'm not sure if that's coming from contact in that lap one. As he comes into pit, he must have some wing damage. Him and Grimm.
Wow, that was one heck of a start for KNYT kid. He was not messing around. As we see Mini and Nemesis here. Nemesis, one of our team principals that is driving today. He is in the V-Carb. Getting a first-person perspective on some of our prospective drivers here, Caden.
Very close fight between 4, 5, and 6 right now. As we get a pass onto that back straight as Mersaki makes it past XIM. And surprisingly, XIM is the one with no battery as he enters that straight, so Mersaki should have no problem defending that position.
You know, we got Mini C back here with Project. They are
Take it back. I take it back.
Deep lunge by Mini.
Can't count him out. Let's see.
I think Nemesis is saying, all right, man, have at it. I'll see you again in a bit. Oh, someone was off. Looks like was that Aero Night? Yep. Oh, so we have contact. Big contact.
Aston Martin backwards. Although got right back on the track. And he goes past the pits.
Grimm. I think it was Grimm just driving like a bat out of hell. Frenny here pulling away. He's got that 2-second gap. Feeling nice and comfortable in first.
Ooh, big lockup for Grim. KYT's right on his tail. You can see the damage under Grim's car from KYT's onboard, just scraping the ground as he makes it past him without a problem. He's going to have to come in here to pit soon. As KNYT works his way back after early contact and having replaced that front wing. Hopefully he can stick it out on these medium tires and join the fight later in this race. But we do have a fight for the podium between Mersaki and one of the Mercedes who I can't read. Flo. Mike D still in front right behind Frenny. You can see here with this graphic the battery savings that Mersaki's taking here in the first sector. You can see Flo is using his batteries below 20% as he reaches the end of the S's, but Mersaki's up to 80, so that should be a big advantage for him coming onto this back straight.
We know if we have boost here, is Flo out of boost? If so, this is going to be one hell of a lunge here by Mersaki.
Flo's tapping that, slowly using it to try and save as much as he
He's got to
possibly
go
can.
for it.
Just way more speed. Oh, he broke late.
A little switchback action. Yeah, nicely done. Gets the move done. Moves up a place. Now it's all about trying to maintain that boost. Stay within that second by the timing line. Ooh, big loss of the rears. Oh, we have contact.
It's actually nice that your stream's a few seconds behind. If I switch to you in time, I can catch it.
I think Mersaki's got it. Let's see again if he goes and chooses to go ahead and harvest through the S's here and just save while he can.
Saving he will not. Both he and Mike are low on battery. The Mersaki's just passing over 50, but Mike's doing a good job of saving that same amount. So it should be pretty even on the boost here. We'll see how Mersaki does get into the throttle.
Let's see how that boost button works in here in F126. You're not going to get as much of a slipstream. It seems like a lot of the drivers have complained about that. You really got to be close to get that slipstream effect. It's all about that boost button. But there's different parts of tracks you can do it, and right here is one of them. Let's see if Mersaki goes for it. And he does. It's a hell of a move by Mersaki. It's a seasoned move right there. That is a seasoned veteran who knows this track and knows you're not going to rely on just a straight to get overtaking opportunities. It's very nicely done.
I didn't quite see what happened to him there either. Lost traction or just gave it up in that final turn of the lap. But he'll get a chance to do it again here with Mike. Did you see that at all? I wasn't quite ready for that.
I didn't. I think, was it Mersaki?
Yeah, it looked like he took it wide or just got to the throttle too soon and lost the rear of the car.
I think he went wide, and I think he lost a bit of his rears.
Flo losing some of that pace that he had earlier in the race. He's dropped back behind DJ now as he's just trying to hold on in a similar position as he was with Mersaki, falling behind, just not enough battery.
Yeah, it looks like he's he's on the tail end here of Djokovic. Djokovic is a very good racer. He's got really strong pace, really good craft. He's definitely one that TPs will be keeping an eye on here. He is it's going to be a very good battle coming up on this lap. Looks like he's not going to have boost, so this is going to be one of those situations where, very different battery management from Djokovic and his attacking car behind. So let's see how they kind of handle this together. One thing to keep in mind here too, Caden, is very different from with the new regulations is, front wing and the wing in general, the clicks in the, really good exit out of here for Flo.
He's got more battery and he's in front.
Yeah, that's kind of a dangerous situation to be in.
They're side by side in here now too. You can see how low they run those cars.
Yeah, it's a different setup. You can go really high wings because, when you hit those, when you get into X mode, you're basically scrubbing off any downforce that is going to prevent you typically from 25 on those straights. So you can comfortably run higher wings knowing that for most of the straights, you're going to be just fine because that is going to scrub off when those wings open.
As Mersaki gets a 3-second time penalty, that'll be a big hit. As he makes the pass in turn 1 on Mike. But he's going to have to build a bit of a gap, which he had not been able to do in the prior laps to offset that penalty. Do you serve the off-track penalties in your pit stop?
I don't believe so, no.
So he'll have to just
only 10 seconds.
Beat him on track with pure pace there and build that gap.
So now reverse situation. Flo was the attacking driver last lap. Now Djokovic looking to make some noise very close on the exit here towards the straight. Let's see if Flo has the battery to defend. And now here's an interesting situation. Chooses a lot of battery to get ahead here. Got a lot of battery on Djokovic's car. He can push and get closer here in these turns. And how does this set up Flo's battery now for the next lap? Can he get that boost to the car ahead? It's going to be close. Not looking like it. Did he compromise his battery? Do we know what his battery is?
Yeah, you can. They're both sitting around 60%, but you can definitely see in front Flo's is about 10 or 15% lower.
That's going to be a problem.
Although he uses a lot more than Djokovic there on that first opening straight. Now he's down 30%.
This is going to be a problem. He's now at that point where it's the danger zone. You've used too much. If Djokovic can get ahead here before the straight, it's going to be pretty dangerous.
They're both charging in that section. Djokovic using a lot more boost here before that back straight. Trying to catch him now instead of later. Now their boost is pretty similar. But he's right on his tail. Close enough where that slipstream should be a factor. Using every bit of boost, but just not enough. Shows a little bit of a move, but too far back.
I think it's here. I think he's smelling, you know what? The straight isn't going to do it for me. It's going to be one of these next few turns. He's got the battery. Let's see if a defense to the inside is there. Oh, man, you could just tell Djokovic is pushing every single exit. His tires are doing a little fishtail. He's trying to get that throttle down so early. Djokovic picks up that 3-second time penalty.
That just evens him out.
Yep. Also looks like Flo has gained a bit of time here on his teammate, or at least for the driver's showcase. This is going to change things. This is going to be interesting.
We'll have to keep an eye on Mersaci, who's fighting to stay 3 seconds ahead of Mike D by the end of this race. But Flo coming in and catching up. Not actually teammates. No actual team orders will be coming into effect here. Mersaci will be hoping that he brings the fight to Mike. Gives him a little bit of breathing room.
And this is also, we're getting into Coda, known to be a very, very effective undercut track. So it'll be interesting to see not only what Frenny does, but these drivers here starting around lap 10, lap 9. It might not be a bad idea to dip into the pits and try to get a little undercut on some of the drivers that are around you.
As the two Mercedes are very close to each other now. Nearly contacting there in the middle of the second sector. If he reached the end, let's take a look at their batteries and see how they compare.
We get our first dip into the pits here by Mersaci. He's going for the undercut. It's funny. I mean, you're going to have to answer.
I think Frenny has total control over this race. He can do whatever he wants to do. He's got a 6-second gap. I don't think an undercut's gonna close that.
Mersaci is a fast driver. I mean, he does have pace. Hot track. You never know.
I think the biggest distinction here is Frenny has stayed in front and he has stayed clean. No penalties. Nothing holding him back. Where he finishes is where he's going to finish, while everyone else behind him has something else they got to think about and look at over their shoulder.
As Aero Knight and KNYT Kid now come together here, entering the turn before the straight. Oh no. 2 cars. Looks like Mike D, who is P2 or P3, all the way down and finds himself down P9. I wonder if he lost the car in reaction to Aero Knight. I didn't catch it.
He was on his outlap, so he was definitely cold tires warming those up.
Oh, no. Not sure if you could see from your end if he lost a bit of that wing.
Yeah, that left side is completely broken off.
So all 3 of these guys are getting after it here. Djokovic saying, I smell blood. I'm going for it.
Frenny and Flo are going to pit and answer the others who have pit before. We're going to have to wait and see if Mike is just going to tough it out and keep that wing on. But he's considerably slower than those cars ahead. And he's going to come into pit. Trying to fake me out a little bit. I almost spoke too soon. Djokovic getting another 3-second time penalty. They're having trouble keeping it on the track here. Everyone on their outlaps with those nice cold tires. But these new hard tires should take him to the end of the race without problem.
Zim here. Trying to extend. It's going to hurt him, though. I mean, the hard tire here, once it heats up, and it heats up quick at Coda, it is just a rocket ship. So he is going to want to try to get into these pits as fast as possible. We take a look here at the other Red Bull. We have a little bit of contact. Switchback attempt, going for a little defense. Keep it clean. Ooh, that's going to be a tough one on Cloud. That is going to be a tough one on Cloud. Good recovery from Jokovic, though.
His field has not been friendly to the Ferrari drivers today.
KNYT kid going to let his teammate go? Even in the driver's showcase, Keaton, we are playing the team game.
Well, KNYT has to pit in here soon. He had to pit on that first lap after damage onto those medium tires, so his are going to be just as old as everybody else's.
Oh, so we got a real... Oh, no. Cloud on his... Oh, no. Looks like we had some contact at turn 1 on the exit of the pits.
You know, one thing I think would be really helpful, this UDP data is broadcasting when there's contact. We could easily have it switch to those drivers when there's contact. And hopefully quick enough to see something.
Yeah, almost like iRacing, you know, they have that, like, you can kind of filter it by, like,
just action. Yeah.
Yeah, you can filter by action.
Yeah, F1 is definitely not friendly for broadcasting, which is kind of ironic, not what you'd expect. XIM's going to have to come in for his pit stop. Frenny's going to get the lead back. Meraki down 3.5 seconds, so he did gain considerable time on Frenny on those outlaps. But with his penalty, it's going to be very hard to catch him and build a gap ahead. But Frenny's human. He can go off track as well, which would make this a much more interesting fight. But Project Nemesis, he's going to try and stick out as long as he can on those hard tires that he started the race on. And hopefully, the hards seem to be a bit quicker, but we'll see if he has an advantage on those mediums at the end of the race here, once the lap or track is all rubbered in and on lighter fuel.
Yeah, if I'm Meraki here, I'm just thinking head down, you know, consistent laps, lay just good times down, you know, compare himself to Frenny ahead. It's Coda 2, so you want to make sure you're clean. Try not to lock the tires. Try not to get on the gas too early. You know, tire wear here is important, and you can get some delta with that. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can close that gap as this race progresses. Not looking promising. It's looking like about 4 seconds now. Frenny is just cruising at this point.
Got a fight between KNYT and Cloudboy, which is kind of surprising. KNYT's tires are a lot older. Oh, I take it all back. He pit. We're not paying attention. So he's on his outlap. He's warming up his tires. There's a little bit of contact there between the Red Bull and the Ferrari. But KNYT does get ahead with a lot. Actually, not a lot more battery. Cloudboy, his battery does not seem to be displaying correctly.
Is Cloudboy missing a part of his wing? A deep lunge here by Cloudboy. Another real deep lunge here. Beautiful switchback.
KNYT showing that he's a driver to be wanted.
Yeah, he's an impressive driver. He's going to really pull away here. This is a prime example, Cloudboy, of just overplaying the battery. really struggling on the tires here. He's looking to be hawked down by Mike D here on the mediums. We're gonna see. I do think we're gonna see Mike D. There's another switchback.
Cloudboy and Mike D side by side. Cloudboy's here to fight. He's not giving up. He's overdriving the car, which is definitely heating up the tires and giving him a lot less traction here in these turns, but he's fighting for every inch of track that he's got.
Oh, man, don't you just love Coda? It's like dancing in that sector, dude. Overtakes and switchbacks and more switchbacks. It's so fun to watch. And Mike's not going to be happy about this. I do think there was a world in which he had a little bit of tire delta in a couple laps to get as close as he could to KNYT Kid ahead, but this fight is not going to help that.
We'll keep that fight in the top right-hand corner of your screen, but Arrow Knight is also catching up to Mini here in the first sector. It was a second last lap, so he was closing. Let's take a look at their tire age. I don't have those statistics up, but both on the hard tires now. Mini has more penalties, but we'll see if Arrow Knight can get this position back on track. XIM kind of in a world of his own after staying out on those tires, extending his first stint. But Jokovic is catching up to Project Nemesis as well. Nick, if you don't mind switching your stream to that fight so we can watch both of these close battles in tandem. So we got the fight for P3 in your top right hand corner. Both battling here in that middle sector. They're going side by side into the final turn. But Jokovic is going to get that position. We'll see if he has enough battery going into turn one, as Project Nemesis is going to come into pit just behind him. So he has had it with those hard tires. He wants to put those mediums on, and it's going to be all up to him on pace. He's got about 11 laps. It'll be 10 after his out lap to warm those up and catch the rest of the field.
Arrow Knight's going to be making a run here on this corner exit. They're going to come together. Big slide out of Arrow Knight. Those cold tires, let's see if he can at least stay within them. How quickly will those Project Nemesis hards, or mediums, I should say, heat up? They're probably going to heat up really quickly.
We got a yellow in Sector 1. That was cleared quickly. Must have just been someone going in the runoff. Another time penalty from Ursaki. That's going to take his chance of P1 away, though Frenny was building up a gap.
Have to say, Nemesis, one of the only ones that went on the hard tire to start, and he's put himself in a pretty good position here with some fresh mediums to go the distance. You know, KNYT Kid and Arrow Knight, this is going to be a few laps of racing here, guys, and it should be for a good one, because both of these drivers have a lot of laps under both of them in their career.
We can see Mike D, he's been on the medium tires for a little while. He's been doing 37 threes, while everyone on the hard tires kind of run the 38 sevens. So Nemesis should be a second faster, which should give him a chance to catch up for P4 here by the end of the race. We'll have to keep an eye on him as he puts his head down and pushes.
KNYT Kid just throwing his car, trying to keep his boost. Classic situation with these new regs is when you're behind a car, you're kind of close to that threshold, that 1 second, and you just kind of use the rest of your battery at the end of that lap to get it, but you get the boost with no battery, and it really makes it a challenge. He's actually doing a pretty good job of it, but you'll notice his battery's still low, so he's using a lot of it to keep up. and he's almost going into the straight with nothing. So this is going to be a pretty pivotal moment here for KNYT to try to stay as close as he can to Arrow Knight ahead.
Arrow Knight's battery is almost just as low. They're pretty close. Arrow Knight was trying to keep up with Nemesis, who's on those medium tires. If he doesn't pass him now, then Arrow Knight's not going to have any opportunity, but that's definitely something that KNYT wanted to see. Keeping his fight for P6 alive.
He's going to find himself in that tricky spot, try to get to that 1 second mark. At this point, if I'm him, I say, you know what? Arrow Knight, go fight with him. Slow yourself down. Let me harvest a bit. Let me get a nice, clean lap ahead of me.
Yeah, the battery is the most pivotal thing, especially on tracks like this with such long straights. If you can reach a 10, even 15, 20 mile an hour higher top speed at the end of those straights, he'll be coming in quick to the car ahead. Just a few extra seconds on the battery on those straights is a big help. But you don't want to be too slow here in these sectors, so kind of like you said before, these cars have lower downforce, which definitely helps with recharging the battery, but at the same time, you want to use that battery. You don't want to be going slow and recharging.
Right. Yeah, it's also too, you know, there's so much focus on the battery this year with the new regulations that it almost becomes second fiddle to talk about, you know, the racing line, and it's just as important. You know, the battery gets so much attention because it plays so much of a role, but you could also be making up so much time or losing it with the way you drive the car as well. You know, your line entry, your corner entry, hitting an apex, also equally as important. Not just battery, although it is very important and it does play a pivotal role to pace. If you can manage the battery well, even overuse a little bit to make up with some good racing and good lines, it can be possible. And I think we're starting to see that a little bit with KNYT Kid. Is he's really putting down these apexes and really handling these corner exits and entries pretty well. And he is gaining a bit of time here with some battery as well.
Yeah, this group of three, they've dropped a second a lap. They were originally doing 38.5s, 38.4s. Now all three of them, Nemesis the lowest on those medium tires, flirting with a 136. But just behind, Arrow Knight and KNYT are at 37.1 with that last lap and 37.2 for KNYT. So there's still a lot of speed and a lot of pace in these hard tires.
Oh, big lunge here. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I like the regs so much, and I think early on people were really worried about it, but it makes you think on track. It's the best way to describe it. It makes you think. There's a buddy of mine, Mark, who is a really fast racer in another league, and it's one of the first things he said is you have to think. You know, you have to think about your own battery. You got to think about when you can slightly push a little bit more or extract a little bit more battery, and then you also got to do some thinking about, like, you know, the car ahead. How are they using it? Kind of pick up some tendencies on where you've gained and lost time and try to take advantage of that over the course of a few laps. It just makes for a more interesting and skill, almost like cerebral racing on track. And I do think it makes for a fun experience overall.
Even with those medium tires, Nemesis is not able to get Arrow Knight off of his tail as he's now down to 4/10. Arrow Knight has a lot of battery. Nemesis is using all of his here at the end of the third sectors. Arrow Knight's is almost completely full. There'll be a big difference in speed here coming onto this front straight.
Yeah, and here comes KNYT Kid saying, I got boost too. Now, this is going to be dangerous for Project because he's getting into that territory where those mediums are going to start dying off. It just becomes, do the hards hold up? I know KNYT Kids are going to be just fine, but Arrow Knight, about 2 laps ahead of him, will they hold on long enough to get some delta on those medium tires? We're seeing it happen live here in play.
Yeah, KNYT with a 136.9. That's one of the fastest laps we've seen on those hard tires.
Yeah, he is pushing, throwing the car into these corners. go on board here with Arrow Knight as we get into the finicky Sector 2, Sector 3. Does he go for one of those moves? Got a lot of battery to do it. Do you play on the inside here? Is he close enough? Just not quite.
Man, these three cars are so close together here in this middle sector.
You know, it's fun too. Being the middle car, you want to push, but you also have to defend in your rearview mirror. And this is about as consistent racing as we've seen.
Yeah, these are the things that the team principals are looking for. All of these cars are so close to each other. They're fighting the entire time, but we're not seeing contact. We're seeing good side-to-side racing. They're deciding when to make a move, when to let it go, and when to look for something later.
Yeah, see, KNYT, Keddy, you know, it's such a tough part. You mess up one of the S's and you kind of come off of your line a bit, and it sets up another.
Oh, here's a move.
We get a move here. Oh. Oh, boy. Let's go racing, boys. Come on. Who is it going to be?
Are we going to get a double? Oh, my goodness. So much speed for KNYT. He
The
keeps it
double
inside the
overtake.
lines and passes both of them.
No way. Can he hold it?
Yeah, Nemesis
what a
on those
move.
Nemesis left behind on those medium tires, but what an impressive, just so much speed, trusting the brakes, keeping it on the track.
Wow. That, I mean, overtake of the night for sure. And he played it perfectly. You know, he didn't sacrifice the battery too much. He was patient. He worked his way back. That's a very, very, very smart driver right there. Seasoned vet, knows how to handle it. Knows he's got the tire delta.
But it's not over yet. Arrow Knight is right behind him with double the battery. Arrow Knight's is completely full. KNYT is now almost fully depleted going into the S's.
Ooh, and here we go. Did he overplay his hand here? Good line in by Arrow Knight. He's got plenty of battery. Does he go for it on the inside? Nice defensive move.
That move's going to hurt him on the straight, though. He wasn't able to get on the throttle quite as cleanly as KNYT. He's going to have a lot more battery, so they should get close here near the end. But here, KNYT tries to defend, but the speed is not even comparable.
It's that boost button. Good defense here. Says, hold on a second. Ooh.
Contact between the two cars, but I think they both held their line well.
And Arrow Knight just he has so much battery. At this point, what do you do? Do you wait or do you go? Do you wait for the boost? He's going to go for it. He's going to give the boost to KNYT Kid.
He has waited long enough. Well, I think the biggest problem here, KNYT Kid can have the boost advantage, but if he has no battery to use, it's absolutely pointless.
Yeah, it's true.
Nemesis is sticking with him. He's keeping an eye out, hoping something happens between these two cars and he can take advantage of them afterwards. But those medium tires did not warm up the way he was hoping.
You do get that advantage, you know, being the car behind. You have the luxury of having the boost button, so you can kind of lift a little bit more than you can normally do. You know, the car in front, you're in defensive mode, so you know you have to lift. And you got to deploy. So the car behind has that luxury of, although he's got nothing heading into this straight here, KNYT Kid. See how much that boost button can recover. Not much.
Their batteries are reaching the same amount, though. This might be a good opportunity for KNYT to get back to recharge and get back on the same level as Aero Knight. 4 laps to go as Frenny passes that start-finish line to get us nearing the end of this race. But the big fight right here between the Aston Martin and the Ferrari.
Last few laps, too. Sector 3 has been kind to KNYT Kid. I feel like he's really comfortable. This corner and the last, he gains a lot of time on Aero Knight every single lap.
Aero Knight, though, just showing he's got control. He's got the car. It's steady. He's harvesting more than KNYT every lap and still maintaining a good gap ahead of him.
Yeah, KNYT Kid's got to say, you know what? I got the tires. Take advantage. You got the boost. You got to try to harvest as much as you can. You know you are faster as far as Delta is concerned. And boost. Try to harvest a bit more. Pick your shot. Be patient.
So you can just see those hard tires falling off. Really hard to keep it within the lines in the same pace that they were doing before when this fight first started. Back straight again, 20% more battery in Aero Knight's battery, which just makes it impossible for KNYT to get anywhere close to him. So we get another retirement.
He's got a comfortable feel. Aero Knight knows this track. He's got a comfortable feel. His strategy for recovery here, you can definitely see it's on display.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Nemesis trying to take advantage of that contact there. That's definitely one that's going to have to be looked at the end of the race as KNYT gets the position. But I'd say
the soon-to-be FIA stewards are foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, KNYT really felt that he had no other chance there. His battery was lower at the end of every single lap. Wasn't able to recharge at the same rate as Aero Knight, as he did have a spin back there. So Aero Knight's not going to be able to get that position back on track.
Oh, tough to see. Tough to see.
It's exactly what Nemesis wanted to see, though. He was trying to hold those medium tires up so he'd stay in the fight, as he's now just half a second behind KNYT going into this glorious Sector 2 where we've seen a lot of our action tonight.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, where is the break-even point? You know, Nemesis, he's got that 9-lap-old mediums. KNYT Kid, 12-lap-old hards. You'd like to think there's a pretty severe advantage here to KNYT Kid, as you start to see him pull away.
Just 2 laps to go for Nemesis, but he's kind of in a similar situation that KNYT was in before. He just can't hold on to enough battery getting into that first sector, using that battery in the first sector to stick with him on that back straight, but then having no battery to actually overtake.
Yeah, and Aero Knight making up a lot of time here. I think those hard tires are feeling pretty good. They're not done yet.
To note, though, Aeronite does have time penalties for off track, so it'll be difficult here with one more lap to go as Frenny begins and starts the final 28 lap of this race. Frenny in total control. No worries this entire time. Kept it clean, kept it on track. Fastest lap of this race.
Yeah, it's just another guy who's just a seasoned vet. You know, Frenny, again, spent a lot of time around him in sim racing. And, you know, originally 4 seasons ago, starting out as a controller dominant player, and has converted over fully to the wheel and has just completely taken his game to the next level. Extremely fast driver, great guy. I'm sure TPs are going to be definitely eyeing him for those who have a top pick in the draft for sure.
Yeah, more news to come for the draft, what that process is going to look like, when it's going to be, and how we're going to determine the draft order. But we can give a kind of overview of what it's going to be. That it's going to be a 3-round draft, sort of. The first round is going to be us picking our teams. Second round will be your first driver pick, and then that third round, if you're a team principal and you're racing, which I'm fairly certain all of them are, you'll be picking yourself. So it's really going to be that round 2 where we're looking for our drivers.
Yeah, and what a fun night that's going to be, man, to find out so much information, you know, utilize the site. We've got so many exciting things at play here, guys.
But the winner of our driver showcase, as he hits the wall just before the finish line, with no worries, that front wing is Frenny. Just behind is Mursaki, coming in P2, about 8 seconds behind. We'll see where his penalties land, but just behind him, Jokovic kind of has a similar amount of penalties, so that shouldn't be a big problem. As Frenny hitting the wall there at the end did get a penalty, so my announcing of him I'm driving clean, technically not true, but I think we'll cut him a break there. XIM, who held out on those medium tires at the beginning of the race because of the penalties, was able to get up onto the podium in P3. And then far behind, with a gap between, is KNYT with his penalties, pushes him down to P7, so that kind of cleans up that turn 1 incident there at the end of the race.
Yeah, and what a race it is. And I want to just say, for all the team principals watching, trust me when I tell you, there are people that are towards the bottom of that list that you should definitely be circling and keeping an eye on, because we have some very good racing and very fast drivers up and down this lineup. So credit to the Ferraris. I thought Jokovic and KNYT Kid had very, very good recovery races. And yeah, Frenny just taking it home, laying down laps, clocking in, clocking out. What a race.
But ultimately in the end is a P1 for Frenny, P2 for Mursaki, P3 for XIM, Jokovic in P4, Nemesis in P5, who started on the hard tires after the contact between KNYT and Aeronite, was able to get that position back. Aeronite in the P6, KNYT in P7, and everything just went blank. So that's what you guys get for your driver showcase. I don't know where it went or what happened, but Frenny celebrating with champagne on the podium.
Love it. Love it. Love it. What a race. Driver of the day, Jokovic, very deserving. Big recovery race, a lot of overtakes. Just a good race overall.
Well,
real quick, I just want to say thank you to everyone who participated today, and you know, this is only the beginning. We have a lot in store, a lot of exciting stuff ahead of us, and we're excited to kind of, you know, roll that out and show you guys what we have planned. But again, thank you, you know, from myself, thank you so much.
Yeah, lots of different tools, lots of things we're working on. Appreciate everyone coming and racing, giving us all this data to work with and collect with that we can use to advance these tools. Keep an eye on the Discord. We'll let you guys know the next steps for the draft, when that'll be happening, and we will be releasing the Season 1 schedule soon. With that, thanks everyone for coming out. We will see